I'd like to get his finance committee meeting of Monday, August 26th, call it to order. If we could stand for an invocation and pledge. John, you want to lead us in an invocation, please?
I'll just do a moment of silence.
We have a moment of silence for the 13 members of the U.S. Armed Forces that were killed on the day that we hurriedly left Afghanistan and left billions of dollars of stuff over there.
Mayor, can you lead us in the pledge, please?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Yeah. Caroline, can you please call roll?
Mr. Lombardo.
Here.
Ms. Wagner. Mrs. McDaniel. Ms. Glenn.
Here.
Mr. Ring.
Here.
Mr. Mishnah. Mr. Hannon.
Here. I make a motion to excuse Miss McDaniel.
Second.
First and second to excuse Mrs. McDaniel. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, she is excused. Item 4, disposition of minutes, regular finance committee meeting of July 22nd, 2024.
To accept as written.
Second.
First and second to accept as written. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, they are accepted. Item 5, monthly financial report. Mr. Matt Miller.
Thank you, Councilman Ring. This is the financial report for July. We're looking in to be around 60% with our revenues and expenses. For the general fund, we came in around 65%, and I broke that down between actual and transfers and what is tied up in POs. And overall, the city is about 57%. That's a little bit skewed at the moment because we did a very large budget adjustment for City Hall. That kind of messed up but once we tie that up with a PO, that true ratio will be back in line. Revenues are really good. Overall, it's about 59%, and then the general fund is doing quite well at 73%. That is driven mostly by income tax being up. Year to date, we're up about 1.2 million. Withholding has ticked up a little bit. Net profit has cooled off a little bit. I average about 1.1 million a month in withholding. In July, we were at 1.2, so it was nice to see a little bit above average for our withholding. And net profit, like I said, cooled off. But historically, what I've seen is usually beginning of fourth quarter, we get a lot of estimate payments. So hopefully there usually is an uptick around October, November of each year. And state collections are doing well. We've up 226,000 in July. The state collected for us for net profit. And an interesting thing about this too, year to date across all my categories, I'm down in penalty and interest. The state changed a lot of rules and standardized penalty and interest, and we are getting less of that as revenue, but we're still staying above on year-to-date numbers. Residential is down a little bit, but I've already given my theories on why that is. Hotel motel is doing really, really well. We're nearly at 3/4 collected already of the original budget. And so we have about a little over 400,000 of the 550 that I budgeted. And so we'll probably be seeing some more budget adjustments for the VCB. It's just been a really good year for hotels, which helps the general fund. Interest, we were at 99,000 in interest. So we almost hit six figures on that. 14 was from Huntington, and about 85,000 was from Star. And so we're still doing pretty well in that regard. Any questions on any emails or financials for the city in July?
Any questions for Mr. Miller?
Matt,
Nope.
you said the interest was 99,000 for the month?
For the month.
All right. Before we go further, I understand we have an appointment, so I'd like to recess or entertain a motion to recess out of finance.
So moved.
First and second to recess out of finance. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, we are recessed.
I'd like to call this regular council meeting of Monday, August 26, 2024 to order. Caroline, can you please call roll?
Sure. Mr. Lombardo.
Here.
Ms. Wagner. Here. Mrs. McDaniel. Ms. Glenn.
Here.
Mr. Ring.
Here.
Mr. Mishniak. Mr. Hannan.
Here.
Motion to excuse Ms. McDaniel.
Second.
First and a second to excuse Ms. McDaniel. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, she is excused. I'm going to move down to item 12, mayor's report.
Thank you, Mr. Hannon. We have an appointment to PERCAC. Sandy, can you come on up here? We had an opening on PERCAC that was created when we appointed someone to the either Planning Commission or BZBA, and we put a request out for a letter of interest, and Sandy replied, and Greg Meidinger was able to interview her, and he said that she would be a good fit, and I would like to have council approve the appointment of Sandy Roberts to PERCAC, and she's here if you have any questions for her.
Any questions?
We got off easy.
Is this at large? You said it's at large. Or
What's that?
What position?
Yeah, it should be the at.
At large.
Yeah.
I don't think we have them by words or anything.
Yeah.
Yes, we
You
do.
do. Yeah. At large, this is at large, Greg.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
Any questions? No? I'll entertain a motion to approve.
Make a motion to approve the appointment of Sandy to the PERCAC.
A first and a second to appoint Sandy Roberts to the at-large PERCAC seat. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, she is appointed. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Welcome aboard. Thank you very much for offering to be a part.
As you probably know, I'm the duck lady.
Do you have any questions for us?
No, but I finally get to see you, John. And you finally get to see me.
Are you the one on the discussion page?
Yes, I'm your administrator.
She is.
I've never met you in person.
No.
And you live on my road, so, correct? You live on, I live on Hale, so.
I live on Hale.
Yeah, I live on Hale too.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
This is fun.
Yeah.
I just made a new friend.
Meet your name.
Yeah. Okay. Well, see, you finally get to meet him. But yeah, I do that too.
And there are meetings tomorrow night, right?
Yes, and I already got everything in the email, so. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Sandy.
Okay.
Thank you.
Make a motion to recess out of regular council.
Second.
So second to recess. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, we are recessed. I'll make a motion to reconvene into the finance meeting.
Second.
First and second to reconvene finance. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, we are reconvened. All right, item 6, old business, there is none. Item 7, new business, update on CDBG program, fair housing. Mr. Peets.
Good evening. Yeah, this is Tappies. I feel really bad that the TV's in front of you guys. Actually, and I feel bad for the rest of you guys who aren't going to get to see this fair housing presentation. So as part of the State of Ohio CDBG agreement, we're doing the senior program, you know, the grass cutting and the leaf pickup, and then also the snow removal. As part of that agreement with the state, we also have to do one fair housing training with you guys. So this is going to be our one time. I'm just going to be a short video, and I will show it to you here quickly. So I just have to not press on that. Get up, and okay.
Fair housing law is about having an equal chance to have a place to live. It's your legal right to stop housing discrimination, from where you can live and how much you have to pay, to how you're treated and the rules you have to follow when living there. This means that people can't be treated unfairly. because of their race, or being from a certain country, or having a child, or having a disability. Sometimes housing discrimination is obvious, but other times it is hidden. Like a landlord falsely telling an immigrant that there are no apartments available so that they can rent to a white family instead. Or a manager refusing to change a no pets policy so someone who is blind can have a service animal. The Fair Housing Act was passed in 1968 to try to end housing discrimination and segregation. Both were widespread in many cities and towns across the country. For example, sometimes deeds said only whites could live in a property. In many cities, lines were drawn on maps around minority communities, a practice known as redlining, to show which areas would not be given loans and other investments. Although these practices are now illegal, housing discrimination is still a problem. Today, communities and lawyers still use the FHA to fight discrimination and to help build integrated neighborhoods. Federal and North Carolina fair housing law prohibit housing discrimination because of race, color, religion, national origin, sex, familial status, and disability. The law protects all races, religions, immigrants, and their families, people of all genders, families with children, and people with physical and mental disabilities. You cannot be denied housing, charged higher rent, or treated differently because you are in one of these groups. Landlords, property managers, real estate agents, lenders, and others all have to follow fair housing laws. They are also prohibited from saying discriminatory things or posting discriminatory ads. The law also says they can't make false statements about availability. Fair housing laws apply to all kinds of housing: public, private, subsidized, even mobile homes. Here are some common examples of violations of fair housing laws. Race. An African American family tries to rent an apartment and is told that there are no units available. They suspect discrimination, so they ask a white couple to try to rent the same apartment, and they are offered it right away. Or a property manager waives rental application fees for a white family, but not for people of other races. Disability. People with disabilities can ask for reasonable changes to housing rules, sometimes called reasonable accommodations. They can also ask for physical modifications to the property, sometimes called reasonable modifications. Imagine an apartment building that refuses to reserve a parking space for a person who has difficulty walking. Or a landlord that refuses to allow a tenant to install grab bars in the bathroom. Sexual harassment. Sexual harassment by a landlord also violates fair housing laws. For example, a landlord, or their employee, that demands sex when a tenant can't pay rent or makes a lot of sexual comments to a tenant is violating the fair housing laws. How can fair housing laws protect you? You can file a housing discrimination complaint with the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development. You can do this online, by phone, or by mail. You don't need a lawyer, but you must file your complaint within 1 year after the discrimination occurred. You can sue in court. You must file your lawsuit within 2 years after the discrimination occurred. After that time period ends, you can no longer file a claim under the Fair Housing Act. You can even use these laws to defend against an unfair eviction. For example, if a landlord tries to evict a tenant with a service dog for violating a no pets policy, do you need help? In North Carolina, contact Legal Aid's Fair Housing Project. We can give you information about your fair housing rights. You can reach us by email or by...
All right. So this is a North Carolina video, but I searched for an Ohio example and I couldn't find any. So you have to beg, borrow, and steal sometimes. But the intent is still the same in Ohio as it is in North Carolina. The one big difference is in Ohio, veterans are a protected protected class. So they are also in a protected class. So you can't discriminate against veterans. Yeah. I mean, is there any questions you may have about fair housing? Because I know I always get a lot of questions like, what does this mean and what does that mean? No? Okay. Well, that's easy. Did everybody get a chance to sign the form?
Yeah, Steve hasn't come in yet, but yeah.
Okay. Should I just take it now?
Up to you.
You guys, and that other stuff here, you want to see it, but, oh, wait. No?
I don't know.
Okay. I'm just going to let this go. I do have other stuff. I showed the mayor recently some stuff that we've been working on, and I'd love to show you guys. But obviously, I'm not on the agenda for that right now. So I'd like to, but it's sometime in the future, I think you'll really like it. I even did something with, not to call you up, Patrick, but did something really nice for Patrick that I think you guys would really appreciate. And I'll just leave it with that. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Todd.
Thank you.
All right, item B, T7648, letters of engagement with state auditor, Mr. Matt Miller.
Council. So what this is just something we do every year. We're a little late with the letters of engagement for our audit, but this covers our normal city audit as well as our federal audit for 2023. The state is just running a little bit behind on audits, so we're bringing this a little later in the year. And so it's just something we do every year. They're going to audit us regardless, and just something we like to put through council.
Thank you. Any questions or discussion?
Questions? I'll make a motion to move that to tonight's full council.
Second.
First and second to move T7648 to tonight's full council. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, that is moved. Item C, T7649, amend ordinance number 2024-106, citizen serve subscriptions. Mr. Miller.
Yeah, I needed to bring this back to council. I made an error on the GLs. I wanted to take it from software. And so this is just updating those GL numbers. And that should be the only change.
Any discussion or questions?
I'll make a motion to move this to tonight's regular council meeting.
Second.
First and second to move T7649 to tonight's regular council. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, that is moved. And item D, T7650, authorized drone aviation insurance. Mr. Matt Miller.
Yeah, this is just a simple thing we do every year. It's a rider on our normal comprehensive insurance. It gives us coverage for when the police department flies the drone. And so this is something that's already in the budget and that we just like to bring to council.
Any questions or discussion? There's no questions. I'll entertain a motion to move this to tonight's full council.
So moved.
Second. First and second to move T7650 to tonight's full council. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, that is moved. All right, item E, T7651, authorized contract for repair or replacement of guardrails. Mr. Bill Miller.
Yeah, these two guardrails, we've had a lot of accidents this year. Will take us over 24,000. So I'm asking to be okayed up to 40 in case any more happen the rest of the year. And basically what we do is pay up front and then we get the money back from the insurance companies.
Which guardrails?
Wellman and 303.
Oh, yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, 303 right at the old bypass.
Yep.
Yep.
Any discussion?
I'll make a motion to move this to tonight's regular council meeting.
Second.
First and second to move this to tonight's full council. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, that is moved. All right, item F, T7652, authorized auction of two unneeded trucks. Mr. Bill Miller.
Yeah, these are two of the older vehicles in our fleet. We just received our new chassis, but I want to auction these off at Edinburgh Auction. Basically, they take them, we drop them off down there. They do all the online stuff. They just keep 10%. So I think it's a pretty good deal.
Any discussion on this?
If there's no discussion, I'll make a motion to move that to tonight's full council.
Second. First and second to move that to tonight's full council. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, that is moved. Item G, T7653, authorized TIF agreement with the Summers Group. Mr. Amalia?
Good evening. We're engaging with the Summers Group to offer a TIF, tax increment financing, to bring public infrastructure to the parcel on State Route 14 across from Home Depot. This will result in a new Texas Roadhouse, Chick-fil-A, and Aldi's Grocery. The developer is going to spend about $2.3 million in bringing infrastructure to site, but because this is a non-school TIF and the schools receive the lion's share of property tax payments, this will only net the developer approximately somewhere in the $95,000 to $105,000 range over the life of the incentive. We were able to secure an important concession from the developer that we had not previously discussed. Shown on page 9, if a party is ever interested in developing the 78-acre Deffer site behind Walmart, we would need to somehow have a connecting road from the Deffer, from Singletary out to 14. Those were the original plans that were shown. However, there is no room left for them to build a road because of the Army Corps of Engineers. So if somebody ever wants to come in and build that road, we now have the ability to kind of force an easement through there, which opens us up not only to just this development deal, but future ones as well.
Okay. I just have a quick question about that site. Seeing that the other site is being developed right now with an Aldi's,
Yes.
is it's gonna have the shared driveway with the light? Like, it's not gonna have two separate entrances, correct?
That is the plans that I have seen submitted.
Okay. I saw that they moved a lot of dirt on the one side, and there's not an improved part there yet.
Well, because we're kind of forcing them to give us access for a future road if we ever find somebody that wants to develop the Deffer property and build a bridge, right? But if we ever find somebody, there's going to have to be access to that light. The Aldi's is over here, so the Texas Roadhouse and Chick-fil-A will be to the west, and right down the middle will be the road. And we said if you're going to put the road there, we want stub it out. We want access to it.
Who's responsible for building the road? Which property?
Yeah, that's a good question. Actually, that was one of the things that we hired the outside legal counsel to do, and they caught a mistake that I wouldn't have thought of because I'm not a lawyer. But the contract could have been interpreted saying that we would have to construct it. And the lawyer we hired from Square, Patton and Boggs caught that and he said, no. So basically it says we're under no obligation to ever construct it, but in the event that we found somebody that we have the right to exercise the option to force an easement. That doesn't necessarily force us to do any construction activity, but it allows whomever will come in to do so.
Perfect. Thank you.
Any other questions?
There's no discussion. I'll make a motion to move this to tonight's full council.
Second. First and second to move this to tonight's full council. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, that is moved. Item H, T7654, approve revolving loan fund contract with the State of Ohio. Mr. Amalia.
It is my understanding that the revolving loan fund was seeded by the State of Ohio using community development block grant funds, which you all just took a training on right now. Isn't it wonderful? And basically, it's their money. And in order for us to continue using it, we have to sign a contract with them stating, hey, we are going to go by all these rules, some of which you just saw there, with fair housing. A lot of the contract is updating it to say if there is a contract taking place with a private sector entity and the construction cost is over $250,000, Davis Beacon prevailing wage applies. There were some changes recently stating that if the construction materials are over a certain dollar amount, that they must be sourced from an American company. All of this is now reflected in that contract. We were originally under the belief that because we subcontract this out and have an agreement with Neighborhood Development Services, who oversees the loan committee and the reporting and the auditing and all the other stuff that we don't want to do, that we had an administrative agreement that we could enter into that. However, on page 1, under item E, it very specifically calls out a resolution from council authorizing us to enter into the agreement.
Any discussion?
there's no discussion, I'd make a motion to move this to tonight's full council.
Second.
First and second, move this to tonight's full council. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, that is moved. All right, item I, discuss service garage pace project. Mr. O'Malley.
All right. Outside of the Popeyes construction or the delivery of the new fire truck, I couldn't think of a single project that we've been discussing for this long. So I wanted us to have kind of, now that we have an actual lender found, now that we have some actual dollar figures, I wanted to have one last discussion before the horse leaves the barn and it's gone forever. As a reminder, PACE will help us bring some new life into our existing buildings. Very often when somebody new comes in, like when Deluxe took over when Layer Zero took over the former Deluxe plant across the street, they asked for a tax incentive, and I said, are you adding anything to the building? No? Well, I have nothing to abate. So we ended up splitting some income taxes. I'd like to have this different tool though, because that wouldn't mean that I've got one more line of defense as opposed to just immediately saying, well, we could maybe share income tax. PACE will basically allow anyone to install any kind of energy efficiency program, which could range from everything from solar panels to a new roof to putting in a new motor to a piece of industrial machinery. As long as there is some sort of demonstrable energy improvement, they can net several benefits from this. We have a lot of European companies here in town, and the Europeans are very much focused on energy efficiency and green initiatives. Our country is not maybe quite there to the level that they are, but this is something that their European headquarters, like for Viga or Bolton or Gebhardt, L'Oreal, the list goes on, are all taken quite seriously. The government has to pretty much lead the way in the creation of PACE because there's a lot of bureaucratic nonsense that you have to jump through. But we've found the project. We're basically going to update the lighting from traditional fluorescent bulbs at the service garage to LEDs. That alone is going to save us about $1,300 a year. But in order to meet the legal definition to create PACE, we have to borrow the money. It was really hard to find somebody that wanted to lend us $2,200 or $2,800 without having some really exorbitant fees. The Portage County Port Authority has offered to give us a very reasonably priced loan. They're not really making money off of us, but they're not losing money either. The interest rate that they get from Star, Ohio, which I assume is very similar to the interest rate that we get, is the rate that they're going to lend us money for. And then there's going to be a small fee of $1,500, which is basically going to cover all the lawyer fees to set this thing up. There's a lot of legalities and other things. So it's, in essence, going to cost us $2,200 to borrow $2,800, but to put that in simple ROI math beyond the money that we're going to save from the LED lighting itself, I find one company with $110,000 payroll, which is not hard, and this thing is paid for itself. What kind of questions do we have?
How do I get into that kind of lending business?
Become the government.
Any discussion or questions?
For me.
We don't need to do anything with this tonight, right, Patrick?
No, before I had, the Port Authority is going to start incurring fees as soon as I have them draw up loan documents. And if you guys were to say, hey, I don't really like this, I wanted to get ahead of that. Like I said, we've been talking about this for probably 2.5, 3 years. And it's been fits and starts. And I just wanted to have one last conversation, make sure everybody's up to date. If you're good, I'm good.
I mean, I really hate the cost of this loan, but I understand that it's not about that. So it's obviously about the investment and the being able to set it up for future. Yeah.
We just spent $3,700 on the lawyer for that one TIF agreement, so I don't feel like this is, all things considered, too bad.
There's no further, we don't need to move this up. All right. Thank you, Patrick.
Thank you.
All right. Moving on, item J, T7655 contract with Wright Electrical for FNB Park project. Mr. Meininger.
Yes, this is a contract to create the drawings necessary to provide electricity to the Floyd North Park. project down the road here. We're scheduled to install the pavilion here shortly. We're working with First Energy and then now Wright Electric to make sure we get all the requirements necessary to provide power to the pavilion, the outlets, and then the stub for possible future restroom facilities if that comes to mind.
Any discussion? Mr. Hannon?
Thank you. So is this part of the project that's being reimbursed, or is the electrical, is that like additional?
So total, I think right now the project is about, I want to say 265, and we're getting reimbursed 245 out of that. I've tried to keep the cost as low as possible on this so I can get all the money back for the reimbursement. It's just, it's cost of doing business.
So like,
but we will get 245 back from the state once it's complete.
So like after these drawings, is this going to show us how much it's going to cost to run electrical, or was the electrical part of the plan?
Yeah, so what we assumed was an active pole on the property. Once Ohio Edison got out there, we started looking at things. They said no, it's not going to work for what we originally had designed.
Okay.
So we need to do something different.
I guess, like, is there going to be like a lot of additional costs to run electricity to the pavilion that we?
No, so we've already laid the conduit out from where we assumed the new transformer of the power is going to be, but to connect those, I mean, the wire and the wires all the same. It's already included in the cost of the project. It's just going to be the connection, the lines, the drawings to show where everything's at, and all that kind of stuff.
Okay, that's all I had. Thank you.
Any other questions? There's no further questions. I'll entertain a motion to send this to tonight's full council.
So moved.
Second.
First and second to move this to tonight's full council. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, that is moved. Item K, T7656, approve full-time firefighter collective bargaining agreement. Ms. Lockhart Reese.
Hello. This is an ordinance allowing the mayor to enter into the contract with the full-time firefighter union. This is for our contract date January 1st, 2024 to run through December 31st, 2026.
Any questions? Discussion? There are no questions or discussion. I'll entertain a motion to move this to tonight's full council.
I'd like to make a motion to move this to tonight's full council.
Second.
First and second to move this to tonight's full council. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, that is moved.
Thank you.
All right, item L, T7647, amend 2024 annual appropriations. Mr. Matt Miller.
Yeah, this will be budget adjustment number 9 this year, and it is going to be moving some money. Obviously, I think Mrs. Lockhart Reese just mentioned for our CBA agreement with Full-Time Fire, as well as we did a true-up with the health insurance premiums to make sure those are brought up to speed to get us through the rest of this year. We also did some movement in the 401 fund, different things with the city center, and items that we had to push off for another time. Any questions on this budget adjustment?
I just had one. Mr. Shaka, what happened with the driveway font? Like we couldn't put it as part of the city hall. Right, so I have a note in here, reversing budget adjustment 8B request. This is in regards to attempt to move driveway costs from city center infrastructure contract to city hall contract. Engineering was unable to make the change to reversing.
So the long story, Mr. Ring, the long story short is when we designed the city center infrastructure project, that was one engineering design firm. When we did City Hall, the site work for that is another engineering design firm. So I had no way of making a contractor responsible for an old set of plans, a different company's set of plans. They have to follow the new set of plans. So I thought I could do it, but then new engineer for the city hall projects, like, well, we would have to incorporate that into our plans, and it just became a total nightmare. So this is the easiest and best way to do it.
Perfect. All right, thank you. Any other questions, discussion? If no further questions, I'll entertain a motion to move this to tonight's full council.
So moved.
Second.
First and second, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, that is moved. All right, item 8, citizens' comments. Hearing none. Item 9, a regular council meeting will immediately follow this meeting.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
First and second to adjourn, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, we are adjourned. Mr. Hannon, before we start, I'd have to take just a 5-minute break. What are we doing? Taking a 5-minute break. Mr. Mishank's not here in a minute.
Is he coming?
Yeah, he's gonna be here. Oh, it's so good.
We don't need, we can just take a break.
Yeah, we see here, we're 5 minutes. Where's the clock?
Take your break.
This for.
think I said that. I hope we have.
I make a motion to reconvene the regular council meeting.
Second.
First and a second to reconvene, all in favor? Aye. Reconvene. Item 3 is next, disposition of minutes, there are none. Item 4 is citizen comments. This is the time for citizen comments on anything on the agenda or anything to this regular council. Hearing none, we'll take reports, communications from departments, boards, and commissions. Chief Reinholz, do you have anything?
Thank you. We've been busy last 2 weeks, fire-wise. We've been to Aurora for a mutual aid fire, and we had 2 fires within the city. Just Sunday, a kitchen fire and then a commercial grease fire, which I have to commend the PD, Police Department. One of their officers was the first on scene and used the extinguisher in the kitchen. The kitchen hood system has the extinguishers, the hoods pointing down the horns. Well, whoever cleaned it last didn't put them down, they put them up. And so therefore, it wasn't going to work well. So Patrolman Aaron Coates was the first on scene, and I want to thank the chief and his department for quick response. And when we got there, we finished up. So that was nice. PD's help, which they always help on all our scenes. We're very grateful for the PD. We had the Portage County Fair. We manned a booth there for about 3 days, talking about fire safety, fire department. And the first day of school, we were up there along with the PD, welcoming the kids in elementary school to make our presence known. And we've just been training geriatric falls, reading certified in CPR, and things like that. And that's all I have. The other thing to mention, Mr. O'Malley, they pushed the fire engine back to December now. So May, July, October, now December.
John has a question for you.
Did you guys have something going on today with the other departments? I just asked because when I was driving up and down 14 today, I saw 2 different fire trucks. I think I saw Ravenna, and there was another one that was like red and black. So I didn't know what.
Black, huh?
Yeah, it was like maybe Brimfield or something.
Yeah.
I think.
Well, there's pump testing. We used to go down by Goodyear. Now they actually bring the apparatus, the pump tester up. So we've been pump testing. Every year we have to test our pump on the fire engine, make sure it holds pressure and it can pump. So they usually set up somewhere and various communities come.
Oh, so they're just driving through.
Yeah, it's just, something like that.
Very good. Thank you, Chief. Chief Wayne.
Just briefly, as most of you know, we had our second school resource officer start a few days ago. That's been met with quite a bit of positive feedback. So everybody seems pretty happy to have Officer Shetler in there. I think he's going to do a really good job. And second, just to give everybody a little bit of a forewarning, we're actually hosting a class with the FBI and Summit County's bomb squad to get some training updates and refreshers after the few days that we had with the Drano bombs. We noticed a little bit of maybe a little shortcoming in some of our training, so we're opening it up to all the local PDs. Oddly enough, the FBI chose September 11th. We are going to be setting off some explosions, so if people hear us in the area of our range, there will be some stuff being detonated on the 11th, but it's definitely training we want to get. There's apparently and unfortunately a lot of things that people can use in their homes to make explosives, so we want to make sure that PDs and FDs are aware of what's out there and what people are capable of.
We post that the morning of, or
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a bad day to have explosions going on everywhere.
Thank you, Chief.
Thank you.
Counselor, you got anything? All right, thank you. Greg?
Turn his mic on, please.
Oh, she wants your mic on.
There I am. Thank everybody for attending the Beer Barbecue Bash last Saturday on the 17th. It was a great event. The weather held out just long enough for us to finish up, and then it just downpoured on us. But we got everything cleaned up about 9 o'clock at night. Got the park put back together in time for the ice cream social the next day. So that was good. It was a great event. We've already had multiple meetings about how to make it bigger, better for next year. So we're excited about that. We've done another 2 electrical boxes in town for the electrical art program. So there's a total of 4. We have 1 more to go. So if you've seen those around town, yeah, those are out. I'm trying to think where they all are. If you haven't seen them, we have one over at 43 in Market, one of Middle of Town, one Superior, and 303, and the other one's over by the Marathon Station off 14. So those are the 4 we currently have. Just a quick update on rentals. As of April, when we started taking rentals in the community center, we've had a total of 29 rentals with a wedding scheduled for this weekend. We're already booking graduation parties for next year already. I think most of May and June are pretty much booked up. And that's on top of this summer we did over 56 pavilion rentals. We're on track to do another 10 or so before the summer's out. So we're staying extra busy. We're looking forward to the splash pad and the additional parks. That's all I got. Any questions?
Any questions? No? Thank you. Patrick?
The Economic Development Department's projects take a very long time to see to fruition. About a year ago, we started the process of having the remaining acreage in the JED certified by the state of Ohio. These are the kinds of That's the kind of land that is when Intel comes a calling or Ford is looking for something. These are the.
Sorry about that. Let me interrupt you.
Yeah. Where was I? But so like when the big companies come a calling, these are the sites that Jobs Ohio puts out first. There's about 6,000 or 7,000 sites in the Jobs Ohio database, but under about 20 that are authenticated. As part of that process, the consultant will be in town on Thursday, July 24th, and you guys are invited to come.
Last month? Yeah, time
October. I'm still trying to figure out what Steve was playing. But
I tried to mute it and it went off.
Thursday, October 24th at 2:00. You guys are invited should you wish to see a dog and pony show.
Good. John?
I don't have anything to report other than to let you know that, as noted at the last meeting, we are continuing our progress with the sign code update. We have the second stakeholder meeting, Zoom meeting tomorrow afternoon, and the consultant that's helping with the project will be here all day to facilitate that meeting, but also to get input from the law department relative to enforcement provisions for temporary signage so that we can begin drafting new regulations in earnest.
Very good, thank you. Justin?
City Center project's going well.
Good, short and sweet. Bill?
Nothing to report.
No, Matt?
Nothing to report.
Nothing new. Very good. All right, that takes us to item 6, I believe. Any other comments?
Yeah, I'd like to, item 6, I'd like to make a motion to suspend the 3 read rule for T7646, T7647, T7648, T7649, T7650, T7651, T7652, T7653, T7654, T7655, and T7656.
Second.
First and a second to suspend the rules for those 11 pieces of legislation. Or is it 10? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 11. 11 pieces. All in favor, or no, roll call, please.
Mr. Ring?
Yes.
Mr. Hammond?
Yes.
Ms. Wagner? Mr. Lombardo?
Yes.
Ms. Glenn?
Yes.
Mr. Mishniak?
Yes. P 7646, authorized grass violation liens. Read by title, please.
An ordinance authorizing clerk of council and/or fiscal officer to certify unpaid bills for the cost of grass cutting to the Portage County Auditor for filing as a lien on the tax duplicate of the owners of said parcels and to be collected as other taxes and declaring an emergency in order to expedite the process.
Motion to adopt.
Second.
First and a second to adopt. Roll call, please.
Mr. Ring?
Yes.
Mr. Lombardo?
Yes.
Ms. Wagner?
Yes.
Ms. Glenn?
Yes.
Mr. Hannon?
Yes.
Mr. Mishniak?
Yes. T7646 passes and now becomes ordinance number 2024-117. 117. T7647, amend 2024 annual appropriations, amendment number 9.
This is an ordinance amending ordinance number 2023-156, the 2024 annual appropriation ordinance number 9.
Motion to adopt.
Second.
First and a second. Roll call, please.
Mr. Ring?
Yes.
Mr. Lombardo?
Yes.
Ms. Glenn?
Yes.
Mr. Hannon?
Yes.
Ms. Wagner?
Yes.
Mr. Mishniak?
Yes. T7647 passes and now becomes ordinance number 2024-118. 118. T7648, letters of engagement with state auditor. Read by title, please.
An ordinance authorizing the mayor to enter into letters of engagement with the auditor of state to perform the audits for 2023 and declaring an emergency to expedite the process.
Okay.
Motion to adopt.
Second.
We'll go slow. First and a second to adopt the legislation. Roll call, please.
Mr. Ring?
Yes.
Ms. Glenn?
Yes.
And Mr. Hannon?
Yes.
Ms. Wagner?
Yes.
Mr. Lombardo?
Yes.
Mr. Mishniak?
Yes. T7648 passes and now becomes ordinance number 2024-119, 119. T7649, amend ordinance number 2024-106, citizen serve subscriptions. Read by title, please.
An ordinance amending ordinance number 2024-106 to correctly state the account numbers from which purchases will be made and declaring an emergency in order to expedite those purchases.
Motion to adopt.
That piece of legislation really upset you. It's a tearjerker.
Stupid citizen, sir.
Okay, motion to adopt. Mr. Ring?
Yes.
Mr. Hannon?
Yes.
Ms. Glenn?
Yes.
Ms. Wagner? Mr. Lombardo?
Yes.
Mr. Mishniak?
Yes.
Kayla, need another water?
T7649 passes and becomes ordinance number 2024-120. It's 20. T7650, authorized drone aviation insurance. Read by title, please.
An ordinance authorizing the mayor to enter into a contract without competitive bidding with Insurance Specialist Group, Inc., doing business as Love Insurance Agency and/or Global Aerospace for insurance coverage for unmanned aircraft systems and associated infrared cameras for a period of 12 months commencing September 26, 2024, and declaring an emergency in order to maintain continuity of coverage.
Motion to adopt.
Second.
First and a second to adopt. Roll call, please.
Mr. Ring?
Yes.
Mr. Lombardo?
Yes.
Mr. Hannon?
Yes.
Ms. Wagner?
Yes.
Ms. Glenn?
Yes.
Mr. Mishniak?
Yes, T7650 passes and now becomes ordinance number 2024-121. 121. T7651, authorized contract for repair or replacement of guard rails. By title, please.
An ordinance authorizing the mayor to enter into a contract without competitive bidding with MP Dory Company for the repair and replacement of existing guardrails located within city limits and declaring an emergency in order to provide protection to the public.
Motion to adopt.
Second.
First and a second to adopt. Roll call, please.
Mr. Ring?
Yes.
Mr. Lombardo?
Yes.
Ms. Wagner? Ms. Glenn?
Yes.
Mr. Hannon?
Yes.
Mr. Mishniak?
Yes, T7651 passes and now becomes ordinance number 2024-122. 122. T7652, authorized auction of 2 unneeded trucks. Read by title.
An ordinance declaring the city's intention to dispose of unneeded trucks, or unneeded vehicles, truck number 923, a 2007 International, and truck number 817, a 2008 Sterling, and authorizing the mayor to enter into a contract with Edinburgh Auction Sales, Inc. to conduct auctions of the vehicles on behalf of the city and declaring an emergency to expedite the process.
Motion to adopt?
Second.
First and second to adopt, roll call, please.
Yes.
Mr. Lombardo?
Yes.
Ms. Wagner? Yes. Ms. Glenn?
Yes.
Mr. Hannan?
Yes.
Mr. Mishniak?
Yes, D7652 passes and now becomes ordinance number 2024-123. 123. T7653 authorize a TIF agreement with Summers Group. Read by title, please.
An ordinance declaring the improvement to certain parcels within the Shady Lake development to be a public purpose and exempt from real property taxation, requiring the owners of those parcels to make service payments in lieu of taxes, establishing a municipal public improvement tax increment equivalent fund for the deposit of those service payments, specifying the public infrastructure improvements that directly benefit the exempt parcels, authorizing the mayor to execute a tax increment financing agreement, approving related matters, and declaring an emergency to expedite the construction of the improvements.
Motion to adopt?
Second.
First and a second to adopt the legislation, roll call, please.
Mr. Ring?
Yes.
Mr. Lombardo?
Yes.
Ms. Glenn?
Yes.
Mr. Hannan?
Yes.
Ms. Wagner? Yes. And Mr. Mishniak?
Yes. T7653 passes and now becomes ordinance number 2024-124. 124. T7654 approve revolving loan fund contract with State of Ohio. Read by title, please.
An ordinance authorizing the mayor to enter into a revolving loan fund administration agreement with the Ohio Department of Development from January 1, 24 through December 31, 26, and declaring an emergency in order to immediately begin projects using revolving loan funds.
Motion to adopt?
Second.
First and a second to adopt the legislation, roll call, please.
Mr. Ring?
Yes.
Mr. Lombardo?
Yes.
Ms. Glenn?
Yes.
Mr. Hannan?
Yes.
Ms. Wagner? Yes. Mr. Mishniak?
Yes. T7654 passes and now becomes ordinance number 2024-125. 125. T7655 contract with Wright Electrical for FNB Park project. Read by title, please.
An ordinance authorizing the mayor to enter into a contract without competitive bidding for Wright Engineering to provide engineering services for the Floyd North Bicentennial Park project in an amount not to exceed $7,500 and declaring an emergency to allow the commencement of services as soon as possible.
Motion to adopt?
Second.
First and a second to adopt the legislation. Roll call, please.
Mr. Ring?
Yes.
Mr. Lombardo?
Yes.
Mr. Hannan?
Yes.
Ms. Wagner? Yes. Ms. Glenn?
Yes.
Mr. Mishniak?
Yes. T7655 passes and now becomes ordinance number 2024-126. 126. T7656 approve full-time firefighter collective bargaining agreement. Read by title, please.
An ordinance approving and ratifying the decision of conciliator Sander Furman and the collective bargaining agreement between the city of Streetsboro and the Streetsboro Professional Firefighters Association, IAFF Local 4281, on behalf of Streetsboro's full-time firefighters, authorizing the mayor to enter into this agreement and declaring an emergency as city council desires to implement this agreement at the earliest possible opportunity.
Motion to adopt?
Second.
First and a second to adopt the legislation. Roll call, please.
Mr. Ring?
Yes.
Mr. Lombardo?
Yes.
Mr. Hannan?
Yes.
Ms. Wagner? Ms. Glenn?
Yes.
Mr. Mishniak?
Yes. T7657 or 56 passes and now becomes ordinance number 2024-127. 127. Next item on the agenda is item 7. Items up for first reading. There are none. Item 8 is next, second reading items. T7642, the adoption of the new city logo. Read by title.
This is actually still written as emergency legislation. We had just had the first reading, so I put it under second reading. If you want, you can motion to suspend and adopt, or just do second reading. But what I'd like to do is maybe do a vote on which logo we're going with. City of or the city? Would that be okay if I read the roll call and each person said which one they wanted?
I don't know if we could do that in roll call. I think we need to open that for discussion. Does anybody want to discuss it? I know you, Justin, you came up with city of and thought we were dropping the Ohio.
That's my preference. I think it actually looks much better without the on it, my opinion. So that would be my.
I'm good with whatever the majority wants to do, either one.
Clarify them.
Yeah. Go ahead, Ms. Glenn.
Last council meeting, I said I didn't have a preference, but now that I've seen it with just city of without the in it, I prefer that without the. So
Okay, that's 3. Well, 2 and I'm going with the flow.
So we should just make.
Tony, the or city of?
Seems like city of.
You're good with it? That's 4. I don't have to ask you to, but I will anyways.
I like the city of.
1 for the. All right.
Sweet.
Vice President Hannon, you're the deciding vote. You gonna leave Miss Wagner hanging out there?
Are you the deciding vote?
I think I am. But I said I'd go with the flow, and you're on my right.
I mean, I don't care either way.
It's got a nicer flow.
When I'm looking at it, the just city of, I like that the city of is a little bit bigger, and it makes, I don't know, I think I'll go with that one.
So you were the deciding vote. So since I promised to go with the flow is the city of. Okay. So with that direction, Mayor, you got anything?
I did just what I sent you guys this morning. I mean, if you look on the top of your agenda here, it says the city of Streetsboro. And I mean, if it's good enough for the agenda, and I think it does lend an air of class to the city of Streetsboro. We are the city of Streetsboro, and you know, the city of Streetsboro, just plain all that is just rather benign to me. And I prefer the city of.
Wagner, you got some help?
When he said
You got some
the
help.
Ohio State, I thought that does kind of sound good. Is the city of Streetsboro? I liked it.
That's where we should go.
Made it sound like, yeah, we're somebody. Just saying. Just being plain city of Streetsboro for the city. No, there isn't.
Or anywhere for that matter.
Right. Right. I like it.
It would be OUGH at the end. It'd be.
Where then?
Borough.
All right, so I guess, but you know what? I kind of enjoy all the input and everybody's, because this is just, it's so subjective, right? It's like arguing with your wife about what color to paint the walls, right? So any color could be good. I'm going to suggest we just keep it on for second. Also to give Lisa a chance. Lisa's got lots of
feedback.
She don't like it at all.
Right, lots of subjective input. I'd like to keep her in there. Greg's got his hand up because he already paid for shirts and he's handing them out.
Yeah, what are you guys doing to me? We have our program guide that's due to go to the printers here soon. I mean, it should have been last week. So if I could have some kind of direction on which one to go. Oh yeah, we got this.
So since city's gonna pass, it's already got 5. Just use that. You're okay
The
with
city of.
What's that? The city of Street.
City of, not the. Correct.
Yeah, I mean, just tell the mayor you were outvoted at council.
I don't have a dog in this fight. I just need to go what I'm putting out there. We're good with that?
Yeah, go ahead, Dave.
I just looked at the charter just to see if there was anything about it.
Yeah, what is the charter?
Charter, the present municipality shall continue to be a body, public, corporate, under the name of the city of Streetsboro.
Uh-oh. Our legal guy.
Is that the legal name for our city?
Name.
It's not just Streetsboro, but the name of our city is the city of Streetsboro.
It doesn't have a T.
Oh, well then that's not.
Isn't that, that's the word.
Yeah, that's not, that's just saying it should be, it's the city of Streetsboro. Yeah. No capital T.
I'm a constructionist.
No capital T.
What the charter
Shall be known as City of Streetsboro? No, it says shall be known as the City of Streetsboro.
If that was a title, but if it was a title, it would be capitalized.
I don't care. Oh, you're thinking yours.
No, I'm going to vote for the city of Streetsboro.
Okay.
That's what I'm going to vote for.
Now we are.
We have to get this going here.
I'm a strict constructionist. If our legal department says the charter says the city of Streetsboro, I don't care if it's capitalized or not. I think I think it should be the city.
Yeah, I'm going with
I'm going with the charter because you can't just change the charter.
All right. Whatever. I mean, I'm not going to fight it.
John?
And put it to a vote.
Greg's like, I already printed up a bunch.
Weeks ago.
All right, so I think by legal standard, we can take that as what we call legislative intent. And I think "the" was the intent, so we'll honor. I think we'll go with "the" then. Everybody okay with that? No. Justin?
to a vote.
Yeah, let's do that for official. Just a voice vote. All in favor of recommending that the city adopt the City of Streetsboro on its branding campaign that we've recently been going over, indicate by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed for the record? Mr. Ring?
No.
Mr. Ring is, for the record, opposed.
I say no too.
And Ms. Glenn? All in favor of adopting, just dropping the word "the" and going with City of Streetsboro on the branding campaign, indicate by saying aye.
I'm sorry. We just voted.
No, I want a clear record on this. I don't want you to just be.
Well, it's just going to be the opposite votes.
Right.
I know. Let's make a record.
Don't make it confusing and say yes.
You can say no to both. You're allowed. You can still do. Are you two no's?
So is there a motion on the floor? Did you make a motion?
I'm
just
polling.
It's not a motion. I'm saying who would be in favor of City of Streetsboro without the "the" indicate by saying aye.
Yeah, aye.
Aye. Miss Glenn and Mr. Ring, those that would be opposed to that adoption.
All right.
Aye. Okay, that would be Miss Wagner, Mr. Mishniak, Tony.
Tony, you said aye. That means you're in favor of it with us, I think.
Tony's a D.
Say no.
I'm a the.
D.
Yeah, I know.
However that works.
All right, you got clear direction, Caroline? We're going with the.
Okay.
Greg, save you some money not having to do new shirts.
Thank you.
We're good. All right, and can we do it for second read, or do you have to have it for third to expend the money?
That is for emergency.
He's got to get this brochure.
I mean, yeah, that's the direction we're going. If you want to do it.
Yeah, I wouldn't go emergency because I'm going to vote no.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Point.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's not going to vote. I don't think. She had some
We'd
change.
have to have 4, yeah.
All right, so clerk, read by title for second reading T7642, adopt new city logo.
Resolution approving and adopting the City of Streetsboro logo design and declaring an emergency because it's immediately necessary to use the new logo.
We can start making his thing. All right. Very good. Democracy in action.
Over the word "the."
Hey, shall not be infringed. Look at the 200 years argument over that.
I will move the emergency clause at the next meeting though.
Yeah, I can do that. All right, items up for third reading. T7630. Is that AA a typo or is that?
It was a square. No.
Okay. Temporary moratorium on solar electric generation facilities. Read by title.
Ordinance placing a temporary moratorium on the issuance of planning, zoning, and building permits, approvals, and certificates related to solar electric generation facilities.
Okay, we have a question before the vote. Mr. Hanna, you have the floor.
Thank you. I just, Miss McDaniel's not here. I didn't get a chance to talk to her before the meeting today, but I just wanted to make sure all the changes were made on this that were proposed from the last meeting. And I did have a question. I'm reading through it. I don't know if I'm just reading it wrong, but number 2 in section 1 just seems like, I don't know, contradicting to the whole thing because it says all these things in section 1, and then I thought it was just for personal use is what we were excluding from that, but then it also says excluding any solar electric generation facility that is a major utility facility.
We have to, because we can't deny.
State preempts.
Yeah, the state law preempts the major electric generation.
Okay, so I just wanted
This
to.
isn't a solar farm in the sense of what we're thinking of.
Okay.
This is like if, I don't know, Ohio Edison came in and, yeah.
It's above the 50 megawatt threshold, and doing a little bit of research, that's a very large number of solar panels.
Okay.
And that's what's preempted by the state. And that's what the large major utility facility is meant to accommodate.
Okay, I was just wanted to make sure. I thought I was going crazy for a second, but.
All right, does that answer your question?
Yep, thank you.
All right, so it's still up for third read. Roll call, please. Or do we have?
I'll make a motion to adopt.
Do we have a second to adopt this moratorium?
Second.
First and second. Roll call, please.
Mr. Hannan?
Yes.
Mr. Ring?
Yes.
Ms. Wagner?
Yes.
Mr. Lombardo?
Yes.
Ms. Glenn?
Yes.
Mr. Mishniak?
Yes. T7630 passes and now becomes ordinance number 2024-128. 128. Ken, did you do this one already or no?
No.
You just did the appointments?
Yep.
I'll need a motion to approve the agricultural placement renewal request of Karen Klein and Robert Huff.
So moved.
Second.
First and a second. Can we do all in favor, or does this need to be roll call?
I think you could do all in favor.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, it passes unanimously. Item 11, motion to request a hearing or not for the liquor license request of Get Go. Any discussion on this? Chief Wayne, you have any input from the PD on Get Go getting its liquor license or the change in status of it? Any objections to Get Go? I guess that would be the Giant Eagle.
They're just changing the owner.
Yeah, the owner's just changing. I don't think anything.
Oh, it's a straight owner?
Yeah,
It's
Giant Eagle and Get Go are separating.
Riser.
Are they?
Someone bought all the Get-Go's.
next year. This is going to change again next year, but yeah.
All right, I need a motion to request the hearing or not. Are we not then? Motion to not?
I'll make a motion to not request a hearing.
First and a second, or any second?
Second.
All right, first and a second. All in favor of not requesting a hearing on that, indicate by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Anybody want a hearing, to be clear? Nobody does, for the record. We're going to open the floor again, item 12, to mayor's report. The appointments are done, but the rest of your report, Mayor, you have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Mishniak. I want to just back up what Greg said. The Brew and Barbecue Bash went fantastic. We really, the only suggestion we had was make it longer. We had a meeting today, and we are going to continue meeting. So if there's anything that you folks would like to suggest or recommend, please make sure you shoot us an email so that we can discuss it. It was really good food, let me tell you. And, you know, we are going to obviously make it better. We may, I don't know if we'll go with 2 days, but we may extend it. You know, this was our first shot out of the gate. And, you know, like I said in my Facebook post, Mike Kustos and the rest of the planning crew really knocked it out of the park. And I'm very proud of what they did. And Greg mentioned the little bit of rain we had. It started raining at 20 minutes to 6. Well, the place vacated very quickly. We got all but 20 minutes of the festival in. And I got to give a pat on the back to him and his parks crew. We had the ice cream social the next day, and you would have never known that there was an event there the night before. And they were out there cleaning up in a deluge. And none of them got a cold. and none of them called off sick the next day. They were out there, and it was raining like heck, and they were out there working, and they got it taken care of, and it was just a real. It was a great thing that they did, and everything went well. And we will definitely be back, and it will be better. I don't know if it'll be bigger. We've got a lot of good suggestions, and we really do welcome your suggestions, and for that matter, anybody in the city's suggestion. I mean, we'll definitely talk about it. Also, would you please all do us the honor of attending our groundbreaking for City Hall on Tuesday, September 17th at 6 p.m. at the City Hall site. This is really kind of going to be the cap of what we've been doing over the last 3 years. You guys know these last 3 years around here have been really zooming. I mean, between the 14 project and the 43 project and the splash pad, and we still have one more project left, the playground, starting with the fire station. And it is going to completely transform that area down there, and we would love to have all you guys there. And, let us put a shovel on the ground. You'll see some dirt moving and stuff like that. We got a pre-con, next week?
The 9th.
Yeah, we got a pre-con on the 9th, so they're going to start moving some dirt, but the real groundbreaking will be on the 17th, and I hope to see you all there. Other than that, that's all I got. Thank you, Mr. Mishniak.
Very good. President of Council's comments. I have a question. I had a couple people come up and ask me, and I didn't know the answer. They had said that they think Popeyes may be charging the wrong sales tax.
It is in the hands of John Kennedy. I had someone approach me with it. I called Matt Kelly first. The auditor's not the person that does that, and he turned it over to John Kelly. And John Kelly actually, I believe, spoke to the prosecutor to see if there's anything in it. I've asked for updates, and
do we know if it's true that they are?
Yes,
they're charging the same for.
It is.
Eating
there is truth to it.
Through the drive-through. Okay.
Right. If you're under Ohio law, if you take the food out, the only thing you can get charged tax on is soda. Okay. If you eat in, you get charged eat in. And I do know it. In fact, Howard from church brought me his receipt, and you can see it, and I sent that receipt to John Kelly. I don't know where it stands after that. It's beyond our enforcement capability to go in and tell him you can't do it.
Sort of, yeah, I understand that. I just didn't know if there's any truth to it.
Yes, there is truth to it.
Looking at the way they, I don't know, my opinion, just the way they opened, and it was so slow, and it was kind of haphazard. It sounds like they probably just. You probably use the same guy who did their tile to set their computers up. You know what I mean?
It's definitely a programming error.
Yeah. So I don't. Nobody has any from it that it was nefarious or on purpose.
No, not that I'm aware of.
The bigger question then becomes: what do they do with the tax they were not supposed to collect?
They're going to have to stop collecting. I don't know what we can.
Class action suit, baby.
There you go. There you go, Mr. Knott. You can retire. I'm Popeyes. All right. I just did. People were asking me, and I'm like, I don't. I'll ask tonight at the meeting. So, all right, that works. Thank you. That's all I have was the comments on that, and we will start with council member comments on the left. Miss Glenn.
Nothing tonight.
Thank you, Miss Wagner.
I do want to say the Brew Fest was a great event. A lot of people came up because I was pouring for Garrett Seal, I believe. I was their pour, and a lot of people had said this is a great event. They thought it was reversed. They thought Family Days was city and this was private. And I was like, no, this is the city's event. And they were like, oh my God, this is so good. Some of them like the beers more than Oktoberfest or whatever that. But there were just so many compliments. I did not hear one poor thing from anyone. But and I did call Mike and let him know he did a great job, and it was a great event.
Hey, are you missing a beach ball?
No, I already talked about that beach ball incident. It was
Okay.
somebody called me and said there was a beach ball. Thought you guys lost it. A neighbor was gonna come get it. I'm like, whatever.
7 or 10 foot red beach ball.
Yeah, I don't know if the neighbor lost it.
But someone said it was yours, so.
It was not mine.
Okay, information beach ball, recreation.
Did it blow there in the storm?
I think so.
Diagonal somewhere, and they had to like deflate it halfway and then have somebody lay down on the back of the truck and hold it in place as we were trying to, because the intake valve's only like so big so it wouldn't deflate fast.
We filmed.
Yeah, so it's in my office in case anybody wants it.
All right. Anything else? Thank you. John.
You brought up Popeyes, so I figured I'd ask.
Oh, I brought it up. He didn't.
Well, you brought
Poor guy.
It's on Facebook, so it's got to be real. So you said something about the traffic improvement in front of Popeyes. Is that?
Yeah, we're going to put delineators. Those are the same things you see in front of Walmart to keep the people from making U-turns, and the same thing you see up here at Circle K. And unfortunately, they're not going to be steel. I wish they were, but they are going to go from the stop line at 14 and 303 back to where the turn lane begins. Somebody's going to really have to want to get in there to get around them. Billy and Justin have been working on it, getting pricing on it, and we would think a couple, 3 weeks probably. People had asked for a no left turn sign, but the only place that we have to put a no left turn sign is on the right side of the road.
Yeah.
There's nothing over, and somebody's going to turn over anyway.
They ignore them anyway. It doesn't matter.
Well, they do.
Those delineator things, they're not going to drive through them unless, like you said, they really want.
They may. Well, I saw, and it didn't matter whether it was male or female, but I saw a lady last week that went to make the left-hand turn in there, and she could not make the left over the embankment, so she backed out onto 14 and went in the other side. And I thought, you've got to be out of your gourd. So, unfortunately, I have a feeling that we're going to solve one problem and create another one, that more people may be turning into Buckeye quality meats, and that is going to be an issue. And Mark Stackhouse has all the right in the world to tow people out of there immediately, but he's a good man, and he's very hesitant to do that. But we're going to solve one problem, and I don't know if we're going to create another one, but we definitely cannot have people turning left across 14 to go in there. Not at all.
I drive that way frequently, and I've turned right there, and people stop to try to turn left, and it comes out of nowhere. So definitely appreciate you being proactive about it.
Well, believe it or not, I went there tonight. I always try it, and my service was just a little slow. Nothing bad.
They know who you are?
Huh?
Do they not know who you are?
Did they charge you sales tax?
They did, but I didn't go through the drive-thru. I went inside, and when I left there, I made a right-hand turn, went down to what the heck's that road in between Rockneys and Staples. Yeah. And then I just made
Staples Drive
a turn in there and came back off the light and went left.
Chugger's Lane.
And it really was no never mind.
I've gone there a few times, and luckily I go about 11:30 for lunch, and I turn right out of there, and I always catch a break in traffic, and I just go and turn left on 303 and go through this plaza and go back to my house.
Yeah,
It's not that hard.
It's not when you start putting minutes and seconds to it, it's like an extra 2 or 3 minutes to do the right thing.
If that.
Yeah, if that. So, I don't know, people are just in a great big hurry, and I went down, I pulled into Staples, I turned around, I came out, and there was cars in the queue, so the light had already activated. So I pulled in, I had to wait about 10-15 seconds, and I was there, But my food was good, I gotta tell you that. The chicken was really, really good, so.
Very good. Anything else, John? No, Tony?
Yeah, the barbecue bash was amazing. Well, I got a lot of compliments. Well, I didn't get them, but residents said that it worked out really well and they loved it. So awesome job to Parks and Rec and Mike Kustos. And there were a couple events over the weekend that I went to, and it was amazing how I saw so many of the same faces at all the events, from Parks and Rec specifically. And it's just...
Well, that's all they have.
I know, but it's like, every event, you know, so it's just incredible to see. They're at every single event all the time, so it's interesting. That's all I have.
Justin.
Thank you. I'm going to go back to the logo real quick. I briefly looked up Aurora, Ravenna, Stowe, Kent, all their charters, they all say the same thing. Shelby knows the city of whatever. If you're a textualist, the is not capitalized, so it's not part of the title. However, now that we're going with the, Matt had mentioned we're going to look to get a .gov website, so should it then be the cityofstreetsboro.gov?
Yeah, we'll make that change.
Because right now we're just cityofstreetsboro.com instead of the city.
I wanted to say cos.com, but that.
Well, we're the city of Streetsboro, so I figured we might as well. If we're gonna do it, let's do it. That's all.
Not wrong.
Item 15 is announcements. City Hall will be closed on Monday, September 2nd, 2024 for Labor Day. There will be a safety committee, a service committee, and a regular council meeting held on Monday, September 9, 2024, starting at 7 p.m. here in council chambers. I'll need a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Second. First and second, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? We are adjourned.
Thank you, everybody.
You know where I'd really love to see those delineators? At that entrance for the get-go is on 43. You know, that where you have the right turn lane